The Emperor has foreseen a new threat rising against him. The Podwans Podcast.
How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Podwans Podcast. I'm your host, Char J, joined by my co-host, Hereth Productions.
What's going on, everybody?
And today, guest for this episode, Caleb. What's your ad again? Is it
Escape Reality Films.
Escape Reality Films. I was like, is it like C. Lockwood and something? I don't know, but
so I did go by CJ Star Wars for a bit on a lot of stuff, but yeah.
Okay. But yeah, today we're going to be discussing episode 1 of season 1 of The Mandalorian, the beginning of our Mandalorian rewatch on our way to Mandalorian and Grogu. We're going to be covering, 7 months? So we're going to be watching all of Mandalorian, all of Book of Boba Fett, and then are we watching something else, or it's just...
No, it's just Mando, season 1, season 2, Book of Boba Fett, and season 3.
Yeah, so we're going to be rewatching all of it and going episode by episode every week up until May of next year when we see Mandalorian and Grogu. So we're going to be heavily involved talking about every episode, and it's going to be cool when we finish this and then look back on these episodes when we see Mando and Grogu and kind of see things that we discussed and then we'll eventually see in the movie. So
right, like I even jokingly, if you watched the trailer episode last week, I was making not predictions, but being like, this is going to be the audience reception to the movie. Come back in a year, I'm right. So I can't wait to have moments like that on the podcast too, where we're rewatching the show and going, oh yeah, I remember that. Hold on to that and that kind of stuff, because you know if it's going to be obviously season 1 and season 2. I don't feel like as much, but when we get to season 3, for sure, there's going to be more details that we're going to probably be picking up on.
Oh yeah, specifically with the Shadow Council and stuff that was at the very end of the season. But
season 3 was definitely the big build-up season for everything.
Oh, yeah. And I'm sure we're going to see a lot of what happened in Mando season 3 in the movie. That's going to be pretty much a given, going back to what we saw with the Hutts, and we're still getting involved with the New Republic defense team. But for the first season, this is the first ever live action Star Wars show. You have the feeling of seeing this for the first time in 2019. It was so different, knowing that it wasn't a film, it wasn't Star Wars animated. This was the first ever Star Wars live action TV show ever. But to think that we have come from here, from 2019 all the way up to now, with how much the Star Wars TV show landscape has grown. It all started here with the first episode of The Mandalorian. Caleb, do you remember the first time that you watched this episode? And what were your thoughts?
So I was watching it actually at my local game shop, because they just put, it was that big of an event. It was almost like it's Star Wars Game of Thrones. Everybody was doing watch parties for it. And so everybody was excited. I think the big thing for me was realizing that, okay, this is actually happening, because we had heard of live action projects maybe happening in the past. And so getting to see something like this actually come to fruition, I think, was my biggest thing to be excited about. And the very first scene, just seeing what it looked like, and being like, wow, this is still kind of on par with the films almost. It wasn't what you think of when you think, a TV show version of something.
Yeah, Hereth, what did you remember from the first time that you watched The Mandalorian?
Dude, I remember day one, Disney Plus, first launch. I was checking because it was because I was waiting for the typical midnight release for streaming. That's what we've been programmed to with stuff Netflix, and even some of the other later streaming services like Amazon Prime sometimes with some shows. So I was waiting for Disney Plus to drop, and I kept checking and then randomly around, I think it was 6 o'clock my time, maybe 9 Eastern, it just dropped. And I remember running upstairs and I quickly subscribed as fast as humanly possible, loaded it up. The servers were crashing because everyone was just trying to get on. Typical early Disney Plus experience. And I just remember sprinting straight to The Mandalorian and watching it with my family out in the living room, and just being completely just in awe of every single thing in that episode. And we'll get into it like in the rewatch, and like just being such enthralled by that ending. Like I just remember my entire family like, what? Like when Grogu first popped up and everyone's like, holy shit, and it just cuts to black. Like that's like I said in the title, like I wanted to kind of answer this off the bat because I think a lot of creators don't do a really good job with like in title engagement. Like genuinely, I think The Mandalorian season 1, episode 1 is one of the best pilots for any streaming show. It does a really good job of just hooking you in straight off the bat, and not like don't get me wrong, like Andor arguably is the highest quality Disney Plus Star Wars show. That's undebatable. But I feel like Mandalorian did a better job of hooking you in on that first episode and keeping you there the entire time.
And the thing that stands out so well with the first episode of The Mandalorian, I still remember all of the concept art photos of the show, which is because we were the first episode. You see that old rustic armor that he was wearing. It was so old and decayed, and it was broken. Like he's been through some things. He needed an upgrade. But seeing him in like the maroon red, it's so weird because we're so used to seeing that beautiful chrome Beskar armor.
Yep.
But the moment he walks into that tavern in the beginning of the episode, it's just like if we're talking about, I know we did an episode about characters with aura, but the way he just went through the door and just stood there, and then eventually used that same door for a different purpose. But the way he just stood there was like, we're going to see a lot more of this guy. And the funny thing was, I had no idea until I think the 6th, or was it the 5th or the 6th episode of the season, where it was Pedro Pascal playing him. I had no idea. He was playing the suit of Din Djarin. But another thing was that this era was so unique. Like we get this, and this is a few months prior to the Rise of Skywalker. Like we're in such a unique time frame. Like from September all the way up to December were such a unique time for the Star Wars fan base. And it's just like when you see this first episode, you can't there's nothing else you can think about but what's the plan with this kid at the very end? I was thinking, so who is this little hand coming out of this pot? I'm thinking, okay, well maybe it's just this is like the most crazy bounty ever. I don't know why it's worth so much, but it became one of the biggest things ever. But Hereth, I mean, what do you, as far as the direction of the show, I mean, we got Queel, we get IG-11, we get Grief Karga. You get introduced to so many prominent characters in The Mandalorian. It's just so cool to see where those characters started and where they are now.
I think it's also crazy, going back to what you're saying, putting myself back to 2019, which is weird to say because sorry to age myself here, high school me,
we all did,
peak Star Wars, I'll myself, I don't mind saying this because I've said this before on Pod Ones. It's back when I was an edgy teenager, really deep into bullshit YouTube type grifter type content, being very kind of anti Star Wars at that specific point in time. And then The Mandalorian comes out and it's just it kind of reactivated that part of Star Wars for me. And again, we'll get to this as we get to season 2, but it's getting from rewatching season 1 is such a breath of fresh air compared to season 2 and season 3, which felt so reliant on other pieces of Star Wars media. This just felt like a standalone Western, and it was its own thing, and I kind of miss that with The Mandalorian, where it's a very self-contained type of adventure of the week style story. And I know this is kind of a popular opinion to some type of extent. I kind of wish The Mandalorian kind of stuck with that and kind of just started treading its own ground. I don't mind the occasional oh, here you go, but I wish it just kind of stayed in its own lane instead of trying to be oh, do you remember the Clone Wars? Oh, do you remember Luke Skywalker? like I think this episode does it a
I
little bit
remember.
with like the references with like the holiday special drop line, like the even like the holiday special like gun that Boba Fett uses
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
dinosaur.
I remember seeing like behind the scenes set photos as like you were saying with like the getting some of the early art, but similarly like as it was being made, we were seeing behind the scenes at like, and that was one of the first things we saw was that gun as like a way of going, hey, it's going to be a Mandalorian project, and everybody was like, oh,
You know what's crazy? Also, now that you mentioned that, obviously we know this because of rumor mills and that kind of stuff. I find it crazy that this originally was supposed to be a movie at one point.
yep,
Because a lot of the early Disney Plus projects, Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, and Kenobi, were all scrapped movies, but they are good enough. I hate to say they were good enough. I think they were just like, we really like these stories. We'll find another purpose for them. We just don't know where they fit into the equation. And so when Disney Plus became a thing, they're like, oh, we'll just rip that up and bring it over.
I think in the case of Mandalorian, it worked out though, because like, if say they were planning seasons 2 and 3 out ahead, I think even with season 1 the way it is, it doesn't quite work as a movie like to tell that story that even just season 1 tells.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't even imagine season 1. I can't even imagine season 2 or season 3 because they all feel very serialized. Like honestly, going back to like I said, just kind of looking at this general streaming type of era of like where we're at right now. Dude, this show also is a breath of fresh air compared to these very heavy narrative driven shows that are like where every episode connects into each other and they're very finally like building towards this giant narrative. Mando at the same time kind of just feels like call back to old network television shows where it's, yes, there's an overall story going on here if you really want to pay attention to that, but it really is adventure of the week. Like, what is Din Djarin up to this week? And I kind of miss, in a weird way, that kind of format of television. And it's weird to say like that because like Chase and I, and like I think we've had this discussion before on Pod Ones, like if you kind of date that back to where that kind of started with television, Sopranos was the thing that kind of kicked it off. Breaking Bad took it like one step further, and then Game of Thrones popularized the shit out of it, and then now it's become the norm for like 10 plus years.
Mm-hmm.
And I would, oh, go ahead.
Oh no, go right ahead.
I was gonna say I think it's very funny though the TV strategy for Star Wars, at least at that point when Mandalorian was being made, is it's really the Star Trek formula. It's go on an adventure for that week, and like you said, adventure of the week. You pick a bounty, you do something that slowly tells the larger narrative. Still, Star Trek, X-Files, those type of classic sci-fi, and it lends itself well because Star Wars is, while fantasy, is also sci-fi, and so telling a sci-fi adventure of the week story, that's kind of what makes it the bread and butter.
I was about to say, like, even with us knowing what happens in the Clone Wars and Rebels and learning about Mandalorian lore, the introduction of the show was just very interesting to seeing the Mandalorian lifestyle now. Because we didn't know too much. Like in canon, in Legends, we knew a lot about Mandalorian lore. In canon, there was very few outside of the shows. I mean, there was bits and pieces, but this was what we were used to in Clone Wars and Rebels. But like, we were trying to figure out like what was this Mandalorian covert, or why did they keep their helmets on? What was this subsection of the Mandalorians that did
Who
this?
is the armorer?
Yeah. There were so many theories about who these people were, because I mean, the heart of Star Wars. I mean, every single fan has fan theories. That's like the creme de la creme of everything.
I remember
in that
so
era.
many Clone Wars fans were like, Rook Cast is the armorer.
Yeah.
Like, it
Yeah.
has to be,
I remember
it has to be
that.
her.
Dude, I also like going back to this, like kind of putting myself back into that mind frame. Dude, I love, because like the show is such a great introductory to Star Wars for like casual audiences, but like for people like that were us that were like been in it for years and like watch Clone Wars and Rebels, it was fun to kind of like try to figure out how the Armorer and Din and like all these Mandalorians fit into the equation. Obviously season 2 gave us that answer, but it's like at the time it was just fun to be like, what happened? Like, because like I remember the theory, and I bought into it like crazy, was when Maul took over Mandalore, there was a section of Mandalorians that broke off, and this is who we saw. Obviously, that theory
And
got
I think
denied.
that's where the Rook cast theories came from too, because like it was connected to that. Yeah, because everybody's like, well, Rook was like his second in command, so obviously.
Well, no, because I saw it as more like the opposite, where it's like Maul took over, and they're like, we're getting away from what Mandalore was Satine and now Maul, but they broke off and then became more cult-like.
See, I always read it as it was like still under like Maul through them.
Interesting.
Because for episode 1, I think it's cool because we've never had a show strictly about bounty hunters. We never really had anything about bounty hunters. And then when we see Din go and talk to Werner Herzog, we talk to the client, we're like, okay, he has this giant stack of Beskar. We knew from Rebels that like there was something gonna happen to Mandalore. Like there was a war coming to Mandalore. And the Beskar was very rare. And then he pulls out that Camtono, sees like a bunch of Beskar, and like you the brilliance of the Mandalorian is that he has a helmet on, but you can tell his emotions.
Mm-hmm.
You can read his face without even seeing his face. I think that's what's so unique about the character. But when you see his reaction to Beskar, he's like, okay, anything you want. What is this? Give me the tracking fob. Give me whatever I need, and I will get it done. But it's so cool when you go and then he goes to Arvala 7, meets Queel. I'm like,
Queel's the goat.
going back and seeing Queel again was just, oh my god, it's
I have spoken.
Knowing what happens to him is just, oh my god. But just like, you have to ride the blurg. You have to learn how to ride. I will teach you. And then he rides the blurg and then just bop.
And that was also so great as being somebody that was like keeping track of behind the scenes stuff a lot. It was so great when you finally see him and knowing that such a high profile actor is behind that, and you're like, because that's a high name that they got for his voice. Like it's not.
Oh yeah. Why am I forgetting his name? Nick.
Oh, now I got.
Oh my god. Oh my god, it's on the tip of my tongue. It's Nick. Oh my god. Yeah, Hereth, come check it for me before my head blows off. It's Nick something.
Yeah.
Nick Nolte.
Nick
Nolte.
Nick Nolte. That was okay.
Which that's a big name to grab for like such a the first episode is a minor role.
Also, I love how as soon as I said it, Obi-Wan said it in the chat, so it was like we just like said it at the exact same time.
Yeah, and even like Carl Weathers, just throwing like,
God, that hurts.
Credits. I have some calamari flan, but this is what I can do for you. But I do have a big
and then we're all
bounty
like,
on the way.
we're all like, what's calamari flan? What's that? And then we're just like, everybody picked up on that, and it's like everybody's like, I remember like people were making flan like prop things afterwards because of that.
Oh yeah, and those little like spheres are just so cool. They're like it's such a cool currency. But when we go to Arvala 7, and then we see Din run into IG-11, that is one of the funniest encounters between two characters in Star Wars, in my opinion. Just seeing paragraph 16 on the Bondsman Guild Protocol.
Well, like, it's also crazy.
I'm part of the guild.
Yeah, it's crazy seeing IG-11 before he gets his mind wipe and like all the rest of the stuff that happened in season 1, like pure, like chaotic, I'm gonna self-destruct IG-11, which I also love how he's voiced by Taika Waititi. Like, it's so, like, I didn't notice it the first time when I was watching it, but like on the second rewatch, it's so obvious it's Taika Waititi. Like, it just like slaps you in the face.
IG-11 or an IG unit just moving in live action.
Yeah,
it's like, I mean, we've obviously with Magna Guard's IG-100s, it's different, but like CG, but like something about practical models being used about because I mean we see IG88 in Empire.
Yeah.
Like, he was just nailed to the ground. That was it. Like
Going into like what Obi-Shan mentioned, like IG-11, it's like you and also Hereth, IG-11 very strict by the books almost, and we see like he kind of when he gets that reset, he becomes more like IG-88, more free-minded spirit, because that's kind of what 88's become now in the comics and everything. Is he's very much more. I'm still a bounty hunter, but I'm a little bit more self-aware of things, whereas 11 wasn't that yet, and it's very interesting seeing here's what IG-88 probably was at one point.
And another thing that when they get overrun and then they're like, my protocol tells me I must self-destruct. Don't self-destruct. And I love how he does it. Well, he does it 3 times.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually it's used for a much more, honorable purpose. But seeing like unaliving yourself be so funny, and it's the weirdest thing.
Yeah.
From it's just like, but when they finally, when they get through the guards and they get to Grogu, and then IG-11's just like, okay, I'm here, and then bang. It's just the build up from when we meet Quill all the way up to when Din gets the bounty. It's just like, there's so much action. There's so many gunshots. There's so much twisting and turning and self-destructing.
Oh, the sound design of like the guns. Like if you are listening to this in a proper home theater system, like the ricochet of all the lasers moving around the room is actually kind of insane to listen to. Like,
oh yeah,
on a proper system, you're just like you just hear it.
Well, and what's great is, like like we said, it's a Western, and so when they get to like the little town square where that show off starts, it very much becomes like the good, the bad, and the ugly, or any of those part of the Dollars trilogy, where he's working with IG-11 out of like necessity. Like, we're both bounty hunters, we're both here for this, but we can't screw each other over because we got bigger problems. And that's very like classic Western bounty hunter film style storytelling trope. And then of course the tank that comes in isn't really a tank like it is normally in Star Wars. It looks more like a wagon almost. Like it's a wagon with a turret on it. And so like seeing how they kind of made the Mandalorian universe kind of almost like its own thing, like it's a little different, like some things are slightly different than what they are normally in Star Wars. And that was, I think, exciting.
And the way that Din like mantles it, that scene was so cool. And then he just the entire bridge of just people just boom, 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 boom. But then like the special effects or like the practical effects were so perfect. Just everything, like that whole like 2-minute sequence, everything just looked so realistic. It was so well done. And was this before or after the volume?
No, this is what started the volume.
This is the volume. This is the start. Yeah,
because like it's crazy. I'm not trying to like dog on the volume too much, but like I think certain cinematographers know how to use it really well, and others just don't. And it's such a breath of fresh air, because this is also the same director of photography that did The Batman, which also utilized the volume in really creative ways. I think it's just the way that it's shot. It's just very brilliant, and you cannot see. Like, because I think a lot of mistakes, like, again, this is coming from a person that loves Obi-Wan Kenobi as a show. And obviously, it's the pitfalls of it being shot during the pandemic. But, like, you can obviously see in a lot of the sets where the set ends and where the screen is. This, you cannot tell where the screen is and where the actors are. They do a really good job of blending that gap seamlessly. And like I said, the Batman also does a really good job of doing that, too, where it's like, I think the best cinematographers know and the set designers know where to hide where the screen is, while other productions just kind of use it as a crutch in a way. They're just like, oh, we don't need to shoot on location. We got the volume. It's fine. And you can see the screen. No one's going to notice. Who cares? Well, I feel like Mando did a really good job of like, okay, let's use this as a tool and use this as a way for our actors. Because I think this is the best part about the volume as well, is like, again, not to dog on the prequels, but when the actors step on set, they see their surroundings, they see the environment, they go, oh, okay, now it like inspires them, because they have a bunch of ideas like, okay, I'm gonna do this instead of what I was gonna do here. While on green screen, you walk on a set and go, okay, I'm not gonna use my brain. What it's gonna look like
Yeah,
in
and
post.
unfortunately, that was a case of time and technology, and not being there yet. And yeah, I think the like you're saying with the volume, I think the magic of it though is being able to use it to create. Because that is the issue, is we don't want to go on set, so we're going to use the volume. No, you use the volume for things that you just can't actually create, like things that don't exist in reality, that you could not recreate in reality. And I think that's the magic of the volume and what makes it useful as a tool.
Right, like for example, like this episode with like the icy scape, or again, not to name other projects. Like, keep going back to the Batman, like the Gotham shots where like Jim Gordon and Batman are talking, and you see the scape of Gotham because they can't recreate that. And, like it's not like Chicago; it's like actually like Gothic Gotham, and then like House of the Dragons with the dragons flying around and like the winds flying in their face, and like that. That's what the volume is used for, and that's I think this word's best utilized because it's not the silver bullet beat all solution that a lot of productions think that it is.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as like how much happened in this episode, it wasn't too much. I mean,
Yeah,
we did get
that's
that
the
one
thing that
scene.
threw me off. Yeah.
We did get that one scene at the very end. That last like 5 to 10 minutes was crazy. The very beginning was pretty good too, but it just set up the ground of who is the Mandalorian. He's this bounty hunter, very stubborn, doesn't like to talk much, like which is very like Western. Just my eyes are
Classic
pointed
Clint
this way.
Eastwood.
I'm not going off course. I have my path. I'm going to take it. Nothing's going to take me off it. But it was cool to be able to see carbon freezing in a different light. Like, I mean, we see Empire, we see Clone Wars, but we see how Mithril gets carbon freezed in the Razor Crest. We're like, okay, this is very conventional. This is, very just right here, just push, freeze. Like to think that anybody could have had this. Like imagine if Boba Fett had this. Like as opposed to having to go to Cloud City and having to haul it, he just does it on his ship. Like imagine if Slave One had a carbon.
I feel like
on it.
this episode, CJ, obviously not to break off too much in this discussion, inspired so many DMs that are running Star Wars campaigns going, I'm going to put carbon freezing right here in the middle of my campaign so I can shove my players into it.
Thankfully, none of mine.
Or any bad guy into it. Like dude, like, that's such a broken concept.
Well, because and I think it works in the case of Mandalorian, but not like some campaigns, because it all depends on the time of when your campaign would be, but also because it's a time thing. It's like, oh, the technology has now shifted to where you could do that on a miniature scale. And the bigger key, ensure they're still alive, because that was the whole reason Han was put in it, was to be like, we got to make sure that he'll live because I want Luke to go through this. And if he doesn't live, then I'm not putting Luke through this.
But I mean, I'm sure that like as time went on, I mean, this was what 5 years after, no, 6 years after Empire.
I think it's
3 ABY was Empire.
Yeah,
and then
Return of the Jedi was a year later. Yeah,
9,
but I'm sure word got out about Han Solo, and they were like, okay, well, apparently carbon freezing is not that complicated to humans. And I'm sure they forgot about it. I'm sure they forgot about it in Clone Wars, but
Clone Wars having kind of retroactive continuity problems in the films? Never. No.
What?
No. Carbon freezing go to the Citadel? No. But I mean, as far as this episode, there really is nothing, too in depth to discuss other than just who's Din Djarin, who's Grief Karga, who's his bounty, and that's essentially what we're going to be aiming for today. But as time goes on, when we see more and more episodes, way more to talk about.
Well, it's like,
I mean, we haven't even gotten to Moff Gideon yet. Oh,
yeah,
right.
God.
Like I remember because I also wanted to kind of not just like we touched on it a little bit, but I also wanted to kind of touch on like the hype around this show. Because like you said, it was the first ever live action Star Wars show. Sure, we had Underground, that was a thing that was in production, but we saw like the leak footage like 10 years later that was like, oh, that would be really cool. But it was always like from Clone Wars and Rebels, it was always told to us, hey, if we could make this live action, we would. The technology isn't there yet. So the fact that the show came out is a borderline miracle. And again, like I said, think about this. This is pre-Pedro Pascal Big Boom. Like, his most known project at the time was, it's the guy from Game of Thrones. He was the Viper. That was it.
He was also in Narcos.
Yeah.
He was also in
He was in Narcos, which was big for
He was in
me, and then
Kingsman.
I think,
Kingsman
he did the Kingsman sequel. Yeah, it was the second one.
Because I was trying to think, like what Pedro was really known for.
But Kingsman, at least the second one, wasn't that big. Like, people didn't like the second one as much, so I don't think he was as known for that one. Although I like.
I mean, TikTok kind of knew about that time, but actually, no, it was 2020. Never mind. Point retracted.
I mean, what time step are we at for this episode?
30 minutes.
What, 35 minutes?
Yeah.
30 minutes, yeah. I mean,
I was trying to think
we
of
pretty much covered all bases.
I was trying to think of because I remember some celebration stuff that was interesting. I was trying to remember I was just trying to put myself back into that era and just try to think about more stuff like outside of the episode. But I really can't think of anything else.
Yeah, I mean, Celebration 2019, I was there for a day. It was in my hometown of Chicago.
Did you go to the Mando panel, or was that day?
No, I remember I was at the panel. I didn't really see much. I mean, it was only for a day. All I did was go to one of the panels that had Ian McDiarmid on it. I went and took some pictures, got a photo op with Ray Park and Ian McDiarmid for the 20th anniversary of The Phantom Menace. There wasn't, for me only being there for like 5 hours, I think I did quite a bit in that time frame, but I wasn't fortunate enough to go to like any big panels, but I was able to go and socialize, buy some.
Yeah, because obviously I'm in a different experience to Celebration because I've always been to the one in the 2020s outside of Japan. Was that pre-reservation system, or does that get put in play with Chicago? Because I know Florida and Anaheim 2015, 2017 didn't have it.
I think that was pre-reservation because I know 2017 didn't have it that way for sure, and I don't think.
Akil, did you not go in 19?
No, I wanted to, but I don't think they changed much from what I remember because I was looking to going.
I don't think so. The only thing I remember was like photo. I think photo ops are the exact same way. You just got in line and then
photo ops have always been that way.
You paid for a price and then you just got in line. And
I do remember something from Celebration. Sorry, I just had a flashback from I remember leaked footage from the trailer. I remember watching the cam footage from the panel, and it was all stuff from the first episode. Like, I remember the shot of Din in the snow. I remember him pulling someone in, and I was like, whoa, and like watching it was really like horrible, like typical like convention leaked footage trailer. The person's like shaking the camera. You could barely see anything. It looks like it was shot on the worst flip phone imaginable, but I was still like in brawl, like, what is this show? Oh my god. So like I said, 2019 was just a crazy time to be a Star Wars fan.
Yeah, and just from that time and then onward into Rise of Skywalker, like when we get to that episode where Grogu does something to Grief Karga and then what happens Rise of Skywalker, I'm excited to talk about that. Like,
I loved how Lucasfilm coordinated that because it came out the same week as Rise. They did that.
Yeah.
I loved like watching Mando that week and then the next day watching Rise and going, oh, I see what you guys did there, you motherfuckers.
Yeah, that was one of the most like eye-opening things from that episode, and then going to see Rise of Skywalker, like, are we about to see more Force healing? Like,
yeah,
but that was pretty much it. But at Celebration, I still beat myself up about this, but I don't.
Yeah,
I bought a photo op for Ian McDiarmid and Ray Park.
Right.
It was either between that or Peter Mayhew. And unfortunately, Peter Mayhew passed away less than a month later. And I think about that sometimes, and I'm like, oh my god. And I still remember in line, his booth was right next to Ian and Ray's. You can see through like the curtain, you can see that lightsaber cane and that bushy long hair. Like, oh my god, that would have been so cool to meet him. But then he passed away literally like 2 weeks later. I'm like, oh my god, no. this sucks. So yeah, so if you ever go to Star Wars Celebration, get as many photo ops as you can. That's my recommendation.
I will add a caveat to that though. If you can meet the actors at a local convention, don't buy it. I'm telling you right now, it's cheaper. If they're going to your local con, don't do it. Just buy a ticket to your local con and go see them there. Because Celebration will mark the prices up. You will be paying pretty much double.
I got to see Daniel Logan this last weekend.
Yeah.
I got to see Daniel Logan.
Like,
He's pretty cool.
Like, for example, like, Celebration 2022, I saw Ewan, but that was the first time Ewan has ever done a convention, so I was like, I gotta do it. I didn't know he was going to be making the rounds like he was doing post-Kenobi, because he's pretty much went to every convention under the sun after Kenobi. But you didn't know, because you, like, some of the Celebration, like, you're just like, oh, wait, no one's ever done this before. I gotta jump on this. Like, for example, like, I'm going to predict this. I'm going to throw this out into the universe. Mark Hamill's going to do one for Celebration for the 50th anniversary. There's no way he doesn't. Like, I know he doesn't do photo like the type of convention rounds anymore because he wants to like kind of save his money for like charities and stuff. But like for the 50th anniversary of Star Wars, there's no way he doesn't do it. And if it's in Los Angeles, he's got to do it.
The things that I would do to get a photo with Mark Hamill, I guarantee you that it's gonna happen. I know
that
Harrison Ford. Definitely not. Harrison Ford is very, very stubborn about anything.
We'll just trick him into thinking it's an Indiana Jones photo op.
Yeah.
Then he'll go for it.
Anything else, all in. Indiana Jones,
Blade Runner,
baby, Han Solo. Fuck that.
You want to get a Blade Runner photo op? Great.
Dude, I just imagine like
Fugitive. You want to get the
why am I imagining grumpy old Harrison Ford in a Star Wars Celebration photo op with a lightsaber? I don't know why that image is so funny to me, but I can just see it in my brain.
Him and unfortunately Carrie and Peter will be the only ones I probably won't get on my Skywalker Saga box.
Oh wait, you know what's funny also about that is it reminds me of like I can't wait for the A New Hope panel. It's gonna be the same energy as when Harrison Ford was asked about like the Force Ghost question in Rise of Skywalker, or like anytime during like Brave New Worlds, like marketing was going out and they were just asking him I don't know why interviewers always just do it with Harrison Ford. They're just like, we're going to ask the most ridiculous, nerdy questions as humanly possible so we can get a reaction out of him.
What's really funny though is if you ask him about the project that he's promoting, he loves it usually. It's when you start going, hey, let's talk about Star Wars, even though this is not a Star Wars project. And it's like, no, let the man promote, because like he liked talking about Brave New World. He just didn't care about the nerdy side of it or Star Wars.
Yeah, and to think that it's going to be in Los Angeles, like we're going to be seeing, and also the 10th anniversary of The Last Jedi, like we're going to be seeing a lot more than just Mark Hamill. I'm sure we're going to be seeing like Daisy Ridley.
Well, Daisy Ridley for sure is a lock.
Like Daisy Ridley, maybe John Boyega if they convince him.
Oh, okay.
I have he's had some words.
I have thoughts about. So, okay. For the record, I don't know if you remember this, Char. I did call. What the hell was that on my screen? Anyway, OBS just freaked out for a split second. Anyway, I was gonna say, I remember calling Daisy Ridley being back in Star Wars, back on Pod Ones. The reason why I called it is because usually when actors start using certain terminology, I can pretty much figure out if they're in something or not. It's always, I didn't receive a call or I didn't get an email. That's usually code word for, I'm in the project, shut up and stop asking me about it. Ewan did it, Daisy Ridley's done it. And John Boyega's starting to do it a little bit too.
Yeah.
He'll go to local cons and go, I haven't received the call yet. Guys, I haven't. Because it's even with like his comments about the sequels lately.
Because like he didn't say he didn't like them. He's just saying if I had done them. Like that's what people are kind of
and he's the same guy. Like, let's not make everyone OP, but also let's include Force Unleashed stuff. Yeah, that's not a contradiction at all.
Also, at the same time, I find it interesting that he said that recently because I remember I didn't go to the panel, but like Chase did at Emerald City Comic Con. John Boyega was talking about like he kind of regretted kind of being publicly vocal against the sequels when they were coming out. He goes, I think if I was now doing it as an actor, I think he said one of the ones that like I have gone public with that.
And that's why I don't read his comments as being anti-sequel. I read them as, if I had done them, I would have done them this way, and just him having fun with the idea and not...
Which is interesting that, like, people... I guess it's just because it's the sequel trilogy. Mark Hamill makes similar comments about Return of the Jedi, and no one bats an eye. But John Boyega makes comments about, oh, if I did the sequels, I would have done this. And everyone loses their minds.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, no one really has too many problems with the original trilogy. Last Jedi, though, that's a hot topic of discussion. If it's anything sequel related and by an actor of said trilogy, it's gonna spark up. It's gonna spark up very quickly. And I mean, this is not the first time. Like John Boyega, he's like, "You're not gonna Disney Plus me," and he's vocally said so many times about his stance about Star Wars.
But it's also interesting.
He'll be back.
That's why I say he'll be back, because, like, I forget, he said multiple times, like, if JJ's attached, if Kathleen Kennedy calls me up, I'm in. So that's why I'm like...
Yeah, because his biggest issue has not been the creative side or even Kathleen Kennedy on the more producer side. It's usually the smaller details that are like how, like, they did costumes for him and stuff like that, and how they prepped him. That stuff he usually had issues with.
And I feel like, again, I know it's hard to go off like the one panel I saw at Celebration London with New Jedi Order, but I honestly feel like that director would do him right, because I feel like, because of like the scope of New Jedi Order, I know it's weird to predict a movie before seeing it. If it's about Rey and Finn, like, I don't really see them going beyond that too much. Like, there is no First Order, there is no Kylo Ren, there's nothing to really draw the focus away from Finn. So I feel like there would be nowhere else to go but to focus on Rey and Finn equally. And I think it would kind of go back to what Force Awakens was, in a sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the 10-year, and we're about to get, because it's the 10-year of Force Awakens.
Which, that was done dirty during Celebration Japan.
Yeah. We are getting that Finn book soon, next month. Next month, I think, or the end of this month.
Oh, yeah, no, because it comes out, I think, in like a week.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because I pre-ordered it, because I always have all the books pre-ordered right when they come out. You know, I got a little bit of a problem here. I got to have every adult and YA Star Wars book, at least canon-wise.
Yeah.
And I do have it, and I'm keeping up with it. Once you get caught up in a collection, easy to save and maintain. You just keep holding on.
Yeah.
Every 6 months, just buy a book.
And we don't catch up.
Yeah.
Reading-wise, it's a different story.
I don't have my book collection with me. It's currently 800 miles away in Chicago, because I live in the dirty F. Yes. But, eventually I'll go and retrieve the goods. I will retrieve them all, and
You'll get your bounty.
Like 3 like Sterlite tubs.
But
like I got like at least like 500 pounds of Star Wars books sitting in my shelf.
But I do
getting
feel
on
like...
top and bringing your Razor Crest to pick them up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I do feel like this is also kind of a good point to end, because I feel like we're kind of just treading our wheels, and we're like at the 45-minute mark after we do our outro. So
yeah, I mean, we pretty much can wrap it up right here if you'd like to.
Yeah. I mean, the first episode, like I said, there's not really much to talk about. Like, when we get later into the rewatch, we'll have definitely more stuff to talk about.
Yeah, and then we can connect to the first episode as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my big thing that surprised me with the first episode when it came out was, it's a live action project, so I was thinking hour long for that show when it came out. But no, it's
I
30,
do remember
40,
that too.
Yeah.
Like the discourse around
so
that.
many people. Yeah, there was such discourse around it. And I think, going back, it worked out for what the show needed. I think it needed that.
I will drop one last hot take before we go. I've said it so many times on Acolyte. I've said it so many times on Obi-Wan. I'm a broken record with streaming shows. We are not on network television, guys. Let the filmmakers dictate the length. I know a lot of times people will complicate that with studio-related stuff and be like, oh, studios are definitely mandating that, like, there has to be 30-minute episodes. No, sometimes the editor just goes, man, let's just cut out 20 minutes. Like, they don't really add anything to the episode. Let's just keep it. Like, I would rather have a really tight-paced, really tight story, 40-minute episode than an hour episode that just goes nowhere for 20 minutes.
Yeah. And And to think that this was the first live action show, this show set the standard for how long the TV show episodes were going to be for that one. Like, it was like the same that went for Book of Boba Fett. It was the same that eventually happened for Kenobi. Like that timing of the episodes like was based off what the Mandalorian did, and also the midnight drops. Or for
Oh
when
my god!
For when I was back up in Illinois, 2 a.m. drops for episodes. Like, I'm so glad that they strayed away from that, because eventually Ahsoka was like, okay, we'll go, Tuesday, 8 o'clock, whatever.
Char, do you remember not season 1, season 2? I was all on the midnight train every single episode.
Oh yeah.
Like, I remember watching that. God, I'm gonna date this community. I remember watching it in Choco and Element's book club server. I mean, we would all deafen, and then we would just watch the episode, and then as soon as the episode ended, we'd all undeafen, and we would just talk about it for like 2 hours straight. Because it was peak COVID. It was pandemic. We had nothing better to do besides like watching streaming shows and just talking about it with like 20 different people.
Yeah.
Like, that was peak Star Wars TikTok. Mando season 2, Clone Wars season 7, that was like prime Star Wars TikTok.
Yeah, and I remember like that end of Mandalorian season 2 was when I got into all this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was where I started, and now I'm here. Like, it all started December 7th of 2020.
Yeah.
I think that was the Boba Fett episode in season 1. Or no, not season 1, season 2.
That was season 2, yeah.
I wish it was season 1. But I mean, he kind of was in season 1. But we'll get that in about 4 weeks.
Kind of, sort of, yeah.
We'll get that in about 4 weeks. Yeah.
Oh, wait, it wasn't. I'm sorry.
The Spurs clicking. We'll get to that very soon.
I wasn't. I misremember. It wasn't Choco and Element's book club server. That was actually later in the timeline. That was Book of Boba Fett. I was thinking Sawyer server. Because Sawyer server was the first Star Wars TikTok server I joined, and then it became Choco's Public, and then Book Club. God, I'm dating myself with Star Wars TikTok. Because that was the era.
Yep.
Like, peak pandemic, everyone was like just moving.
Yeah, I just remember just watching this first season just by myself in my room. Like,
yeah,
I
got up for work in the morning. I would turn it on, get ready for work, because I would get up like pretty early enough that it was like still like as it just came out.
I feel like most people with Mandalorian, I could be wrong, they either waited until evening the next day, or watched it on the way to work, or because the episodes were so like 30 minutes,
30 to 40 minutes.
I guarantee you, could be wrong. Most workplaces, don't call me out. I think people just took their lunch and then just took their 15 minutes on top and then watched the entire episode and then went back to work. Because what are you going to do? It's 45 minutes. It's exactly the length of your lunch plus the 15. And you could do that.
It's almost like that was perfectly planned by them. That's my little conspiracy theory there.
People just went in their cars and just pulled out their phone and were just like watching The Mandalorian and then got out of their car and went back to work.
Yeah. It's such a different environment from season like this episode to now.
Yeah.
On TV like shows. It's so interesting to look back on it just from that angle of like viewing experience.
Yeah, and because you see how far we've come.
Because the streaming service isn't crashing every 30 seconds when you're trying to watch the episode? Because I remember that with Mando season 1, episode 1. Did you have that experience, Char, where the streaming service was just constantly buffering?
I actually watched it a little bit later than usual. I watched it maybe I think the first 5 episodes were already out by the time I started watching it. I wasn't like locked into Star Wars stuff at that time. I was kind of just doing my own thing.
Because I remember that was season 2. Like Disney Plus's servers were broken. Anytime Mandalorian came out.
Thank God. But no, it's just seeing how this first episode from then and then till now with all of these other shows that have come after, all of these shows like Kenobi, Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka, Andor, like everything that's released, it blows my mind to see that show. It's been almost 6 years since Mando season 1 came out.
That feels like That
6
doesn't
years.
sound right, but it is.
Yeah, let me what's the exact day?
November 18th, 2019. If I
So
call
not
that
quite
right on
6
the
yet.
dot, I'm too chronically online.
Mando season 1 started November 12th of 2019.
I was 1 week off. God.
November 12th. That show almost came out 6 years ago. Doesn't like blow your mind? Like, I can't. Sometimes you just don't understand. Like, I thought. Do you think Mandalorian came out like a few years ago, like 3 years ago? It's double.
Yep, still in the,
Like, I'm
it's
that
still,
old.
It's still in the zeitgeist.
Mhm.
Because I mean, like, action figures, sweaters of a little certain green guy.
Yeah, we don't know about that
Like,
yet.
It's all everywhere.
Yeah,
now,
spoilers.
'cause of-
Till next
it's all
episode.
everywhere
Oh my
now.
God! On the rewatch podcast, spoilers. How dare you? It's not like you're supposed to watch the show and
Don't
rewatch it.
spoil whoever that little green guy is. Quoted.
Yeah.
Don't want to.
Hey, Char, what's the name of the new Star Wars movie?
Mando and little green guy.
No,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah,
I don't think
Mando
it's the
Green Guy.
title.
Baby with the magic
Mando-
hand thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a spoiler, Char, by definition.
No one knows that. Everyone watching has not seen The Mandalorian. They have no idea
No,
what
it's
it is.
actually Mandalorian and IG-11. They brought him back.
Yeah. He's actually a statue. It's awesome. Oh, spoilers. But no, yeah, I think we pretty much touched base on every single thing. I mean, there's baby steps right now. Baby steps right now. There's
Baby steps.
as the weeks go on, we're going to start interconnecting all the other episodes prior, and then we're gonna be
Interconnecting?
just having just one real big conversation regarding everything that's happened from the next episode and the next episode and prior. What were you saying, Hereth?
I said interconnecting.
Oh my God! The interconnectedness. Oh my God, that's such an OG segment. Oh my God.
Dude, I remember when Pod used to actually be super segmented. Holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember old pod ones. Like the interconnectedness. Oh, because what was it? Mine was what? Lore. You were interconnectedness.
The story, the
was...
lore, and the interconnectedness. Am I right?
I think that was what it was. I don't know. Maybe I should go back and watch Pod One's episodes from what?
Hey,
a year
Rebels rewatch podcast. Hey, we were ahead of the times, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
And to think that we almost, Hereth, I can't believe we almost finished that Rebels rewatch.
We should
I
have.
think we were on season 4.
Yeah,
were on
we
season 4.
were like, hey, you know the best season in Star Wars television? Let's just not finish it.
We were not far away from the Dune episode. Like we were
I was
pretty
so
close.
disappointed.
Yeah, but anyways, that's gonna be it for today's episode. Check us out next week for Mando season 1, episode 2. But before we close out, Hereth, where can the good people find you on the social medias?
God, okay, so the good people can find me at Hereth Productions on TikTok, Instagram, and Threads. And of course, you can find me at the Pod Ones podcast every Thursday to talk about The Mandalorian. And I got a new thing to plug now. If you are a sports fan, which I know there are probably very few in the Star Wars comment section, you can now find me and Luke and our good old buddy Ryan talk about NFL and college every single week. So if you want to watch Luke crash out about the Chiefs, me crash about the Bucks, and Ryan crash out about the Saints, you can follow us there at Gridiron
he's a
Guys.
Saints fan? Oh,
Char, we gotta watch the clip I made because we go in on him.
Oh, bear down.
We do have a
Caleb-
Bears fan on the pod as a host too.
Ooh, you talking about me?
No, we have George, who's the fourth host, who's a Bears fan.
Oh, okay. Fake Bears fan, not like me though. All right, Caleb, where can the good people find you on social medias?
You can pretty much find me at Escape Reality Films on pretty much everything. And especially YouTube, my big thing promoting right now is I now have membership program there. And I just dropped my first video essay project for early access for that. And it's me talking about the Scream franchise for an hour and a half, specifically the first 4 movies.
Spooky season. Go ahead, check it out. But you can find me, Char J, on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. And you can find me here every Thursday talking about anything Star Wars related. But for now, for the next few months, we're going to be discussing The history of the Mandalorian.
except for the one episode of Visions. That look, we got to make a break for Visions,
You gotta talk about Visions.
Yeah.
which kind of comes at the perfect time because it's like right as we hit the finale, and so I just combined 7 and 8 because really, let's be real, guys, it's one episode. I know it was released as 2 different. It's one episode.
Oh, 7 and 8 of this season. Yeah, it's all one story. I mean, I mean, with the timing of how this all set up, it fits perfectly up to when Mando and Grogu comes out. We could combine them, but we won't.
It's almost like it was on purpose, guys.
Is that right?
It's almost like I went by a calendar and looked at every Thursday and counted it up to Disney Plus, and then kind of went, "Oh yeah, that's kind of perfect."
Yep.
Crazy.
But that's gonna be all, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. Please leave a like on this video, subscribe if you have not, and may the Force be with you. And this is the way.
This is the way.
This will be the way.